I know it's March, and it looks like it's June, but this is Drew Bishop, I'm Ken Walters, and this is North Coast Spotlight. I know a lot of you folks lived in this area for quite some time and realize in March you could have a lot of ice on Sandusky Bay right here at the Jackson Street Pier. But boy, we've been fortunate so far this winter. Pretty light as far as snow cover and ice, but a beautiful day to be outdoors. And we're not talking March, we're going to start talking about April. Big event coming up for the Sandusky area, in fact, the Northern Hemisphere.
And Ken, hopefully this great weather transitions to that special date as we're going to have a solar eclipse right here on this very pier.
Let's take a look at what they've got to say about the eclipse. The countdown begins, and we're getting set for a big event that's going to be taking place in our area coming up in April. I'm joined by Amanda Smith-Resnick and Mackenzie Spriggs with us here this afternoon, and we're looking forward to finding out more about what's going to be taking place. And ladies, this isn't just local, this just isn't statewide, this isn't regional, this has national flavor, and I guess you could even say national and international flavor, does it not?
Absolutely. People are going to be coming in. We have the eclipse chasers that are going to be coming in, hopefully to this area to watch it. But also we're going to have our residents and our other visitors locally coming in to enjoy as well.
We've been planning really for the last 2 years, and we are expecting a really good crowd, but have a lot of things planned just for our local audiences too. So it's gonna be an epic occasion and truly a once in a lifetime experience for everyone.
Yeah. And we don't see the total eclipse of the sun very often anywhere. In fact, I believe it's going to be another 20 years until you have one in North America. So this is really special for our area to be able to enjoy this, and more importantly, get people involved in it. And you mentioned there's going to be a lot of different industries, a lot of different businesses and visitors coming from all over the country, in some cases even all over the world. Different phases, what's going to be going on. The first thing I'd like to comment on is your shirts. I really like those. Yeah. If you can get a good shot of those, it says right there, total solar eclipse, Shores and Islands, Ohio. There's a couple backstories to this as well, as far as the stories and where the money's going to go and how you're putting it together.
Yeah, so these shirts were created by our assistant marketing director, Jen, and I love the logo. It's a little spin on our current logo, but of course we had to have something that would commemorate this awesome event. What's really cool is we have them sold online, also in our welcome centers over in Port Clinton, and also here in Sandusky.
You know, you think about total eclipse of the sun, and I think back, I think it was 1973, Bruce Springsteen had a song called Blinded by the Light. Man, Earth Band did it as well, and it had to do with Mama told us not to look into the total eclipse of the sun. Well, there's a lot of truth to that, and I believe safety is one of the key issues to making this thing a safe and fun event.
I will just add, because there's so many great song references.
Yeah.
We all know of Total Eclipse of the Heart, but there's Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. So there's a lot of great songs about the eclipse, but you brought up safety, and safety is very important. It's gonna be really important that everybody goes and gets their classes. Shores and Islands, and Amanda, I don't want to speak for you, but Shores and Islands did a really good job procuring many of these for our area. They worked with local partnerships. Us at the Greater Sandusky Partnership got about 10,000 ourselves through their help. So
did you say 10,000?
10,000.
There was a total of actually about 65,000 that have been purchased throughout the region. The majority of those were with partners such as Greater Sandusky Partnership. These ones we also partnered with Lakeside, Twin Oast over in the Port Clinton area. We also have Firelands Hospital. There is the Sidney Froman Planetarium. So a lot of different partners who went in on those costs for these to distribute those and to make sure that they are getting into the hands of all of the residents, all of the visitors, and because that is our number one thing for the eclipse is safety.
And I think just being really clear that you need to wear your glasses except for when totality happens. So we're going to be going through an hours long process on the beginning and the other end of totality where, you know,
How long is totality, by the way? What do they say?
for us, it's 3 minutes and 45 seconds. This is actually way different than the 2017 eclipse because it's almost double the time. And so if you'll remember, there was a lot of national attention for that. But so I think it really got people's appetite up for these really cool scientific and also cosmic events.
Yes.
But ours is nearly double the time just because the moon is actually closer to the earth at this time.
Right.
So here in Sandusky, we're gonna have 3 minutes and 45 seconds beginning at 3:12 p.m. On April 8th. So
You're doing a lot of work to prepare for this, but I know it's difficult to come up with the number, but what are you estimating the number of folks that we're going to have here in the area during this event? Because I know it's just not the event itself, but leading up to it and then afterwards that people get together, but what are you getting a sense of as far as interest?
That's a good question, and it's extremely unknown because
TBD.
we have been in contact with folks in other destinations who have had the eclipse in 2017, and the best estimate that we can find is about 3 to 4 times the population. So what is the population of Sandusky?
Erie County, 80,000.
There you go. So we expect that influx. Now, we don't know, and we will, let's see what the lovely weather gods have for us. But like, I would say about 10 days, leading up, we'll have a better understanding, because if it's going to be glorious and sunny like it was last year on the day, great. Or if it's a day like today, maybe those, negative vibes. But maybe those chasers, the eclipse chasers, will go elsewhere. But nonetheless, we have enough for everybody to do here. And no matter what, we're gonna party and we're gonna enjoy. And no matter what, the world will be dark, or not the world, I should say, us here in Ohio will be dark, no matter what, whether it's cloudy or not. Right. So we're gonna celebrate.
Absolutely, and it's not gonna be, we're not gonna party like it's 1999, but it's still gonna be a good time, because you had mentioned earlier, not to belabor it, but there's gonna be a lot of different things going on, a lot of different people getting involved in this, and a lot of different businesses putting on a good show for people to come and have a lot of fun.
Right. Right. I'd love to tell you about what's happening in Sandusky. The city actually changed its name via proclamation. So our local government changed its name to Sandusky, S-U-N, Dusky, leading up to the weekend leading up to the eclipse. So we have a total eclipse of Sandusky festival happening. It really begins April 3rd. We have some people coming from the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. One of their senior astronomers there is a Sandusky high grad, and he wants to come home and do like a big production for his hometown. So we have that out at the Cedar Point Sports Center. That can accommodate 1,000 people. And again, that's April 3rd. So that is really meant for our locals here.
Yes.
That's not for, visitors. I don't think people are going to be coming 5 days out, but that's really for us and our local audience to have a really good education around that. Then April 4th, that is 4x4, and we have a huge Jeep contingent. So they are doing a Jeep Clips celebration on the Jackson Street Pier, just something a little bit fun. And then starting that Friday, we have some movies, and then we launch into a music festival type of experience.
So it's now you're gonna be a party.
It is gonna be a party.
In Shores and Islands, Ohio, between both Erie and Ottawa County, there's plenty to do, and I welcome everybody to visit our website. We have a special website, shoresandislandseclipse.com, and that is where it is your go-to for any events, any safety tips, any really cool phenomena that might happen during it.
Yeah.
This is the place where we have invited everybody from all of those communities to add their events too. So it's a one-stop shop.
April 8th will be here before we know it, that's for sure. And I'd like to thank you ladies for taking some time. Amanda, Mackenzie, appreciate it.
Thank you,
We look forward to hearing more in the future, but buckle up, folks. April 8th is the date, and it's in the afternoon, but remember, a lot more going on than just April 8th. As you can see, these ladies are already practicing, getting ready, blinded by the light. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No question, it's going to be a party here in Sandusky and Erie County when we have that big eclipse coming up in April. All this activity, all the things coming up, the festivities, the food, the bands, kind of made me hungry.
Well, Ken, I have just the answer for you because the food dude is back for episode 2, Chris Bliley, and we visited Zuppaman's in Sandusky where Chef Benny Vito took us into the kitchen and chefed up something a little nice.
What a great name, Chef Vito. Let's go feed our face.
It's the Food Dude here today. Welcome back as we've got a treat for you. We are at Zuppaman in the old Sandusky Plaza on Cleveland Road, where Benny Vito has moved from fine dining Italian restaurant to opening up his upscale sandwich shop, and he has got all of the North Coast talking about it. Let's go into Zuppaman and see if we can become a super fan of Zuppaman. And welcome inside the Zuppaman here in Sandusky, the Food Dude with Benny Vito. I know, Benny, I feel privileged to have the name Food Dude, but I'm even more privileged to be here with you today.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, Mr. Dude.
We supported you when you were in the old Twine House in Huron with Benny Vito.
That's 30 years ago, man. Yeah, that's a long time.
How did you go from fine dining sit-down restaurant to now here in Cleveland Road with it's a great upscale sandwich shop?
As a professional chef and a teacher, I just didn't want to make small plates of food for $38.95 anymore. I just believe that everyone deserves good food without having to dress up, feel uncomfortable, or take out a small loan to do it. And I've always wanted to do this because I don't want to do any processed food. No burgers, fries, wings, pizza, anything like that. It's just not what we do. So we do gourmet soup, salad, sandwich. And matter of fact, zuppa in the name is the Italian word for soup. So the name literally means soup man. And we keep 6 soups all the time, and we've got some pretty crazy sandwiches, and we've been fortunate enough to win some awards for them.
Well, let's get to where the real magic happens. Let's head into the kitchen and let you make up some of your favorites.
All right, sounds good.
So Benny, I got your menu here. This obviously is the sandwich construction zone. You've got all these cool different names of sandwiches.
Yes.
But then you've got your make your own section where you just come here, you pick your sides and you pick all that. But what have you chosen to make us today?
Well, today I chose Ziggy the Piggy. Ziggy the Piggy won us our first award at Best of the Bay. So we don't use pulled pork. We use center cut pork loin. So it's center cut barbecue pork loin with the Memphis sweet barbecue. It's cheddar cheese, macaroni and cheese, honey, bourbon caramelized onions. All right, so first, take a flour tortilla. All right, and this is a Memphis sweet barbecue, and all of our sausages we usually put on pretty liberally. But you can do it any way you want here at Zuppaman. It doesn't matter to us. If you want light sauce, if you want heavy sauce, that's fine. So we're gonna start with Memphis sweet barbecue. We have a shredded cheddar cheese. So we have our house-made mac and cheese, and what we do is we use these noodles. They're called radiatore. So that means radiator, and if you look, it looks like a tiny little radiator. And it really holds the cheese and the sauces in well. So we put that in our wrap, and yeah, we're not afraid to get our hands dirty here. Oh yeah.
Is that wrap gonna close?
Oh, it is. We are professionals, we can do this. Honey bourbon caramelized onion. All right, we throw that in there. Now, this is where we put in our pork loin. And again, like I said, and this fun is coming up with names because my two chefs, Chef Haley and Chef Devin, just came up with some great sandwiches. One's called a Shroom Zoom Zoom, which just won us another award. And the other one's called Black Betty. And I got to say Bam Lamb because I was born in the 60s. But yeah, it's got a black truffle honey on it. So these guys have free reign to do whatever they want in this kitchen. If it tastes good, we put it on the menu and we name it. So you can tell this is not pulled pork, it's center cut pork loin. We spread it out a little bit, and then we hit it again with our Memphis barbecue. And the fun part, we wrap it up. So we come in, pull over, pull back, tuck, tuck, and roll. Tuck and roll. There you go. And this is your Ziggy the Piggy for the day. We'll put that on the press for you.
The inspiration for a lot of these sandwiches then, you said you let your staff get out here and investigate and trial and error. So
this is all we do. All day, these guys are doing prep and they're creating different sandwiches. They create a sandwich, we make it, we all taste it, and if it gets a majority of the vote, we sell it. And then the fun part is finding a name for it. But lately we've been asking the customers.
You've always championed, eat local, support your local chefs. Seen you comment on people's food trucks saying they're great, go out there and visit them. Why is that so important to you?
These chains can do more advertising in one day than we can do in a year. So I try and give love to all the mom and pops out there because I think people need to know. Most of these mom and pops, most people I know have mortgaged everything, just to be in business. They've taken loans out on this, they've taken liens out on this. So you got to give them some love, and I try and share that. All right, there it is.
Is that eaten with a fork and a knife, or is that eaten with two hands?
So, I like to watch people, especially like on the spaghetti sandwich. We have the spaghetti and meatball sandwich and 3 cheese. I want to watch how people approach it. You can eat it with a knife or a fork, but the way we wrap them, they're meant for you to just pop it open, and you can even drive with it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's your Ziggy the Piggy. And it's a beast. And if you take a nap afterwards, I do not have any responsibility for that. So yeah, and that is yours, Mr. Bliley. Thank you. Absolutely. Would you like me to, just take a bite.
Whoa, that's got to weigh a pound.
Yeah, that is a beast. Yeah, it's got to weigh more. It's probably a pound and a half. Yeah.
Ziggy the Piggy.
Now that one says a Memphis sweet barbecue, and if you like a little heat, we also have a Memphis sweet mango habanero barbecue.
Hey, I got to bite a second time.
That's right, just to make sure. Absolutely, I wouldn't expect any less.
That is fantastic.
Thank you very much.
The barbecue sauce, awesome. The radiator pasta, perfect blend. The crunch of the bacon.
Yep. Thank you, brother.
Unbelievable. Well, whatever you do, don't change the recipe.
No.
So tell us how people can find you. I know we're here on Cleveland Road, Sandusky. Does this plaza have a name? Is it the Sandusky?
This is called the Sandusky Plaza. It's been here since November 7th, 1956 it opened. Our address is 1186 1186 Cleveland Road. You can reach us at 419-502-2000. Call in your order. We also have online delivery. We have delivery anywhere in Sandusky or Perkins. Call us or go online at Zuppaman.com. And we're on Instagram at Zuppaman_Sandusky.
I've got to go finish this Ziggy the Piggy out in your dining room, and A+, and we're so happy for your success, and thanks for all you do for Sandusky.
Thank you. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my young chefs at Midtown Supper Club. Myself and Chef Byron from Baybell Restaurant are the lead chefs this year. We're taking our class of 8 to 15-year-olds to a tour of France. We're going full-on French cooking this year, from vichyssoise to beef bourguignon to French tart pastries. And Lyonnaise potatoes is going to be a great event culminating in March. So Midtown Supper Club, check us out on Facebook. Thanks for everything, guys. We appreciate all the love. In a world, and more important, in a country, you can be anything. Just be kind to each other. Thank you.
Moving along here on North Coast Spotlight. Hope you're enjoying the program. Certainly, if you follow sports in our area, there's a name that is synonymous with basketball in our area. The name is Santoro.
And we cover a lot of Santoros, Ken, but Mike Lilgy sat down with Carly Santoro, the eldest sister of the family, to talk a little hoops, talk about the Lady Red, 14 straight league titles, talk about her experience at Bowling Green University, Ohio State University, and of course, who's going to win in a Santoro one-on-one tournament in the driveway. Let's go check it out.
Welcome into North Coast Spotlight, and this is the segment where we like to catch up with some of the better athletes from around our viewing area, and we've got a pretty good one here today. We're joined by Carly Santoro, a graduate of Bellevue High School, also a graduate of Bowling Green State University and the Ohio State University. Carly, where didn't you graduate from? I guess is the first question. But first, thank you for joining us. And I know we get to see a lot of your family here of late, your dad and your sisters and your brother coaching football. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a lot of you in high school. I think I only got a chance to do one of your baseball games or basketball games and maybe one softball game. A little bit jealous that your little sisters got to grow up on TV during high school.
It's a little different, right?
And I feel like I was a jinx for, well, not really a jinx, because I did see you win a district championship your senior year at Ashland High School. But For people who don't remember, you were a pretty good softball player too. And unfortunately, I did your last softball game against Edison. But for people, again, who don't remember, you hit 500 a couple years. You had 18 career home runs. Obviously, softball was something you were into. You went on to play college basketball, but were there softball coaches from the collegiate level who were after you too?
Well, I got my first offer when I was really young for basketball that I always just knew that was what I was going to pursue. I did travel softball as long as I could, but once I tore my ACL my sophomore year, I just kind of, put all my focus into one sport and played basketball, but I obviously still played high school softball. So just kind of, all my marbles were in one basket, but thankfully it played out.
And you went through 4 years of high school at Bellevue where you won 4 NOL championships in basketball and 4 NOL championships in softball. So all you did was win conference championships. What was that like, being a part of those two teams that in the constant winning and the championships?
Yeah, it's just all about culture. And majority of the girls that played basketball also played softball. So essentially all we wanted to do was win and continue to carry that over from one sport to the next. And you have to give credit to our coaching staff, Coach O, Coach Ryan Osashki, and my father and Walt Snyder. They had really great programs and we all bought into it. And it was just a very fun group of girls to be around from my freshman to senior year. And it's something we always look back on and talk about. And it's also awesome too, to this day, that those league championships for basketball are still going on. To have 14 in a row it's something special, and I love to talk about it to anybody near and far.
Well, when you were a senior, your dad became your head basketball coach at Bellevue. Was that tough to kind of work around that relationship and leave basketball on the court and be a family at home? Was that tough to adjust to?
I loved having my dad as my coach. It was the best thing for my senior season. It was, we talk about it to this day and everything that we were able to accomplish together. But there were definitely times where after I only lost twice my senior year. And like the second game was, the first loss was the second game of the season. And I remember texting my friends, I'm not going home tonight, I'm coming over. Like, I am not going home to my dad. And then I was like joking with my dad. And the next day I was like, I promise you I'm not losing a game the rest of the season. Like, I cannot deal with you and, the grief you're going to give me at home. But we learned to adjust to it just because my dad he's hard. And obviously we all know how to adjust that. And we all thrive on tough love. If we didn't have tough love from my dad, we wouldn't, be as successful as we are. So, we learned to leave a lot at the court, but I think my younger two sisters struggled with that more than I did.
Do you see a little bit of a rivalry forming between your dad and Jalen now with their coaching success, with your dad winning conference titles and now Jalen's winning conference titles with Perkins football?
No doubt. Everything's a competition with my family. There's never a day that we can't be competing against each other. Obviously, Jalen's doing a very great job at Perkins and is building something that everybody wants to be a part of. And that's a kudos to him and his coaching staff. But obviously, I think my dad might have the upper hand on him on winning conference titles for now. Hopefully, my brother can get there. But it's a grind. Like I said, it's not easy to do back-to-back, let alone 14 in a row.
Your dad got his 200th win this year, and that had to be a pretty special moment too, going all the way back to the beginning because you were there when it first started.
Yeah, I was able to obviously get him his first win, so that's something that's really special to me, and now to be at his 200th win. But that's just, he puts a lot of time and effort into it, and a lot of people don't see what he does behind scenes to be successful. And there's a lot of time where he's away from his family, he's not supporting his kids at college sports or doing some things because he loves coaching basketball. He loves investing into those girls. And it's just a true testament unto him, on his hard work and how great of a coach he truly is because, he finds a way to get it done. And especially in this day and age, to keep getting kids to buy into your culture and how you coach, it's awesome. So obviously he's one of the best coaches in my eyes. So I'm able to obviously learn from him a lot. But 200th win is really awesome. So I'm excited to see how many more he can get.
All right, well, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire a little bit here because I'm going to ask you a question that I asked your dad on a podcast, and he was very gentle with his answer towards the rest of his family. But if there's a Santoro one-on-one tournament out in the driveway, who's winning?
I mean, you're always going to say yourself, like it's obviously me. It would get really competitive. It's always so funny because whenever we play one-on-one or any type of basketball in the driveway, our neighbors will start coming out and start watching us because we just get so mad at each other and it's so competitive. And it's like, it's free entertainment for the neighborhood every single time we do it. But yeah, obviously I'm going to say myself. And then just because I want to say it, I would say Jalen is the worst.
All right, good to know. Good to know. I'm sure he will enjoy seeing this when it comes out. All right. Well, you mentioned that you are a coach now too. So why don't you catch everyone up on what you're up to these days?
Yeah, so I'm in the Columbus area, so I stayed after I finished my master's and I was done playing at Ohio State. I currently coach at Dublin Kaufman as the varsity assistant, so a very rich school, a tradition of women's basketball. And then Corey Kreinbrink, so he's from Napoleon. My dad actually played against him a couple years in the district finals. He's a head coach, so I'm able to learn from him, which is a really great opportunity. He's been a very successful head coach, and I think it's really important to put yourself around people that have done a lot of great things. And obviously, he's won a state championship and has been to the state championships a couple of times. So to continue to learn from him is awesome, and it's a great opportunity.
Is the ultimate goal to get your own program, become a varsity head coach at one point?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, coaching runs in the blood, and it's important, or it's not important, but it's something that I want to do. But it's important to, invest into a program that you can do a lot of great things in. And I'm learning right now in the Columbus. I'm learning more about the Columbus area and like those programs. And so it takes time. You want to make sure that you put yourself in the correct situation.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us and spending a little time with us. Like I said, I feel bad that we really just came on the air towards the end of your high school career and didn't get a chance to see a lot of you. So a lot of people didn't get to see how good of a high school player you were for the Lady Red at Bellevue. But hopefully this gives people some idea. And obviously you turned out to be a pretty good person as well. And we're excited to have you on North Coast Spotlight for sure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I do remember one of the first times that I was interviewed. It was after my district final games, and it was with my dad, and my sisters were photobombing in the background. So that's one of my best memories about BCSN is with my dad and then my sisters behind. So obviously, you guys have given a lot of great opportunities to kids in that area. So thanks for everything that you guys do as well.
All right. Again, a big thank you to Carly Santoro for joining us, and keep it right here. We've got more coming up with North Coast Spotlight.
As they say in television, that's a wrap. We finished up this segment of North Coast Spotlight. Hope you've enjoyed it. Always trying to bring you people, activities, and events that take place in our area.
Absolutely, Ken. And a big thank you to you for joining me, working on that eclipse. Thank you to the people at Shores and Islands, Ohio. Of course, yes. Mike Lilge, Carly Santoro, Benny V, the Food Dude, Chris Bliley, and our entire BCSN crew. Thank you for watching North Coast Spotlight.